Chapter 951. When the three of them stepped out of the orphanage and were about to head toward the restaurant, a pleasantly surprised voice sounded in their ears, "Alex, Linda." The both of them turned around and saw several figures walking toward them. These people were all the friends who had grown up with him in the orphanage. However, there were many people from this group that Alex had basically not seen again ever since he had left the orphanage. The only person he had kept in touch with after leaving the orphanage was his close friend, Matt Rich. During Alex's early years in the orphanage, he had a very reticent attitude and personality because of his parents' accidental death. He was very introverted and withdrawn, and he would not even speak a single word to anyone else for the whole day. He was often isolated by the other children because of his personality. Alex could still remember that Matt Rich, who was a little older than him, would always stand up for him and play with him whenever he was being isolated. Over the years, the relationship between both of them had deepened a lot. Matt Rich and Alex were of the same age, but Matt Rich was a few months older than Alex. After leaving the orphanage, both of them had chosen to go to the construction site and work together. They endured hardships together and suffered a lot together. They became very close brothers because of that. However, the only difference between Alex and Matt Rich was that Alex would always secretly donate all of his hard-earned money to the orphanage, whereas Matt Rich would save all his money for himself. When Matt Rich had finally saved up a decent amount of money, he had left the construction site and gone to Manchester to start a small business. Alex could understand Matt Rich's approach. After all, they were all orphans. Most of them were helpless after leaving the orphanage. Everyone wanted to save some money and make more money so that they could lay out a foundation for themselves. This was simply because orphans were not the same as everyone else. Other people had parents, relatives, and a house to shelter themselves from the wind and rain. However, an orphan had nothing at all. If they did not have any money today, they would not be able to eat anything at all for the day. Moreover, they would even have to sleep out on the streets at night. The reason why Alex did not solely think about himself after leaving the orphanage was mainly because of his father's teachings in the past. Alex knew that the only reason why he could live until he was 18 years old was because of Mrs. Brown's kindness to him. Therefore, he naturally had to find a way to repay her kindness. Moreover, Alex's actions had a lot to do with the education that he received during his childhood. Since Alex was the young master of the Anderson family and had spent his childhood there, he had studied ethics and manners ever since he was a young boy. Therefore, he had a very dedicated and compassionate spirit built up deep within himself. It was also precisely this fact that made him different compared to everyone else in the orphanage. At this time, Matt Rich stepped forward excitedly as he said, "Alex, my good brother. I have not seen you in a really long time." Back then, Matt Rich and Alex would sleep together in the shed at the construction site. They would also carry cement together and move cement bricks together. Both of them supported one another and had spent many years backing each other up. After that, Matt Rich had saved up tens of thousands of dollars. He had met a girl that he liked on the construction site and eventually followed her back to Manchester. Alex could not help but also feel very excited since both of them had not seen each other in so many years. He said, "Matt Rich, I think we have not seen each other for at least 3 or 4 years now, right? How has your life been in Manchester over the past few years?" As soon as Matt Rich heard Alex's question, he laughed before he said, "I am okay. I am doing fine. I have good food to eat and clothes to wear." Alex asked again, "Where's the girl that you met on the construction site? Are both of you married?" Sigh. There was a hint of sadness between Matt Rich's brows, but he smiled before he replied indifferently, "Get married? We dated for about 2 to 3 years, but we did not get married. After all, I could not afford to give her a dowry, and I do not have enough money to buy a house. The woman's parents despised me and would often advise her not to be together with someone like me. After some time, she fell under her parents' influence and started despising me as well. Then, she broke up with me. Alex frowned before he asked, "When did this happen?" Matt Rich smiled slightly before he said, "Just last month." Alex nodded and said, "It is her loss for not choosing you."